Hello, everyone. It's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland Reviewer, and welcome to Lost in the Wasteland, my weekly interview show where I get to learn a little bit more about somebody else's perspective on movies. And joining me for the third time, which honestly I'm pretty shocked that it hasn't been more, and I actually haven't had this guest on my show in 120 something episodes.
It's been a while.
Yes,
It's been a
it's
while.
it's been a while. Yet the fact that Matt is a very frequent collaborator of mine, one of my best friends, and as of this week, 13 years of friendship.
You're right, because September. Yeah. 2010, 17-year-old me.
Yeah,
Hey,
when we
how's it
started
going?
college,
Yeah.
met
Let
in
the
film
road.
club.
I will always remember. So I was looking at like a few weeks before, like a month rather before
Mhm,
college. I was like, wait, so I think I have to find like my people. Because that's what you have
mhm.
to do like in high school, right? Like, you have to like find your people. But I wanted to see like get the ground running. So I was looking at all like the extracurriculars and like alternative film club. Okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna try to have like mature like film studies conversations with people, and not a single person is gonna show me up. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna be someone that says like, oh, I like Scorsese, and like, oh, what else have you seen besides Godfather? Like I wasn't gonna get caught up with that, so I tried to like binge everything. I paid like special attention to like college movies, like Animal House, the Belushi, and Back to School,
Mhm.
Rodney Dangerfield. So I just like to like binge, and that was really interesting. I went to film club and we saw a professor, and that was really cool. Met a guy named Vinny, brought a
Mhm.
guy named Remzi. Like all these were super cool. And I met you, and you were one of the few people that came to my film,
Series that you
yeah, my
did
film
on
series.
The Devil's Backbone and Let the Right One In.
And I was like, I don't even know if people are gonna like these movies. To be honest with you, both of them, maybe they're not the most friendly, but I think that they're really cool. And you saw both of them, despite the fact that this was very, like pre you liking horror. I forget what kind
Yes.
of like made the switch, because you went from like telling me I will not watch the Babadook to you voluntarily going to see something like Suspiria, which is
It was my YouTube channel. It was my decision to see everything and everything. And for the record, I curled up in the fetal position in broad daylight with all the blinds open in my living room watching the Babadook. So, yes, I am a baby.
well, I remember you told me, I was like, so do you recommend Suspiria? And you were like, no, not really. Like,
It's not quite a film I'd recommend to people, but I do want to say I knew Matt was a ride or die film buff when seven people showed up for a little screening of the film May.
dude, I
And
completely forget every single time that you have that DVD. I
because you
completely
bought me
forget
it,
that. Like I completely, we have to. Okay, next time we hang out, I don't know. This is a recording, so maybe maybe edit this part out. But like next time I come over your place, I want to see May. But we have to like skip over
because
like the scenes that are make me nauseous, because that is also a bloody movie. But yeah, we need to watch that.
literally four people left, and it was only you, Remzi, and myself left. And the special bond that Matt and I have that we've been having the same argument for like probably almost eight
Millennia,
years at this point, which is the
Eon.
greatest action sci-fi film of all time, T2 Judgment Day or The Matrix. And the more and more I tell people about this argument, the more and more I lose. So good for you, Matt. So
I mean, the T2. it's a
We're not
really
starting this
awesome movie.
argument again right
Okay,
now. We
okay,
have
I got
other
it.
questions to talk about.
We're about to take an exit. We're about to take an exit. Yeah, course correct. Course correct. Yeah.
But Matt, you just told me you're going to be taking some time to yourself for your birthday, taking some time off for work. What if you took one of those days and decided to have a movie marathon?
Okay.
What's going to be your theme?
All right. So, like, I was thinking of, I don't know why, but immediately I thought of crime.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, what about like, excuse me, crime, but like all of like the crime movies that I know, but like the best. And then also kind of like, uh, I don't know, like seeing it like from different angles and like different like aspects of society. So I got In Bruges, Pulp Fiction, Goodfellas, Menace to Society, and City of God. Uh, City of God is incredibly different than all of those movies. Actually, all of those movies are very different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Pulp Fiction and In Bruges you can kind of like link up, but then also like Pulp Fiction is like very very American, and In Bruges is like very very European.
Yes,
Um,
very
like
Irish.
yeah, which it was really awesome. But also you can kind of like make comparisons just because like I don't know. I thought that movie deserved what was it, best original screenplay. I don't think it won that, and it pissed me off. Also same year, whatchamacallit, the movie Milk got best actor. Uh and I think I wanted the wrestler to get that. I think
Oh,
it's that same year.
Mickey Rourke
Yeah.
should have won that. I was so upset at
Yeah,
watching the
that's super
Oscars
random,
that
but that
year.
pissed me off. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
I was thinking of crime as my marathon. I
hey,
think.
that's a really good list of films too, and you do have some variety there. Because literally, you could just make a whole entire crime marathon just as Scorsese. It could just be Goodfellas, Casino, Departed, and like honestly, white collar crime could be the Wolf of Wall Street, and
That's
all of
true.
that. But you had a nice variety there from different perspectives, like you mentioned. And I love In Bruges so much. It's like on the job in Bruges. Um, I won't say the
You're an
rest of it.
inanimate object.
It's like Harriet's an inanimate object. You're an inanimate effing object.
That's my effing kids. You're going overboard.
Those are my effing kids you talking about there. You take that back about my kids.
Yeah.
And he's like, I take that back about your kids. Because, like, I think Brendan Gleeson fits the C word five times into one sentence.
Yeah,
It
and
might be a
like this is
run-on sentence, but still. Great list though. Now, Matt, obviously it's not like a friend like me, but imagine you had a friend who had never watched a movie before. What would be the first movie you would show them?
all right. So I was thinking about this, and my brain was like, okay, pick something that has like beautiful scenery, or pick something that has like an amazing score, so it could be really like accessible to anybody. Because even if I don't know, but then my brain was like, even though those things are awesome, like people talk about like the editing was fantastic or like the costumes were fantastic. Like those aren't like the things that really kind of hook me.
Mhm.
So I was thinking of I don't know, I was just thinking of like the things that hook me are uh like dialogue, and I guess kind of like mood if it's or it's like the overall vibe. I don't know, like or being able to kind of like play with the genre that you're in or to kind of like show me something different or like visually looking interesting, like special effects. So the two movies that I came up with, there's probably way better answers than this, but the two movies that I came up with were either The Babadook or Spirited Away. Super like The Babadook because by the poster, the DVD cover, you can definitely tell like it's horror movie. But I would argue that two-thirds of it, almost kind of like The Exorcist, two-thirds of it is like a very serious like painful drama, like family drama. Um, except like in the Babadook, it's like a psychological kind of like degrading of like this character on top of the fact that the whole movie is, or at least a large portion of the movie, it's about grief. Like
Yeah.
that's truly what it's about. And it's kind of like this feeling or like this new normal that has to you have to acclimate to that's kind of like in the past that's like haunting you. So like I think that that's like really like moving. People could say Citizen Kane or which I don't actually like that movie or I don't know it's like a bunch of random stuff, but I feel like that for me, like that's like a really like awesome movie. And Spirited Away, there's so many like awesome things in that movie. It kind of like it's a kids movie that adults can appreciate, and that gets thrown around a lot. But when you actually watch Spirited Away, it's like so like there's like metaphors and kind of imagery that I don't even understand. Like what is the meaning of the train? Like what's the I don't know. Like on the water, I don't know. But like there's like so much there's like so much and it's so rich and it's interesting. My favorite scene is the like when like the character is pulling that all that junk out of
Yeah.
that mud monster and like you see kind of that spirit that turns into like a dragon, like a water spirit thing. I don't know. It sounds like I'm having a stroke when I'm talking about it. But
Mhm.
like water dragon, what's going on? But like that movie was and is fantastic. I've seen it once as an adult and a couple times when I was like younger, and it's just like a great movie. I feel like if you want to see a horror movie that's not just horror, or if you want to see like a kids movie that's not just for kids, like I feel like if you can like watch a movie and it's like multiple things and you'll see stuff that like you haven't really seen before or at least don't see like in a lot of movies like you'll see it in both of those movies like I'm not gonna say that those are like my favorite movie of all time or movies of all time. Maybe those aren't like my top five, but I think that I would hope that most people or anyone would watch both of those movies, especially Spirited Away. That's a beautiful film.
Well, yeah, I think Spirit Away is a wonderful pick because it also shows like what film can do. And if you're trying to show somebody like get them into film, that certainly will be it. Babadook also does that, but might scare them away
I mean, yeah,
because
but
it's terrifying.
yeah, and also like if someone has this idea that like horror movies are just like 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 one of the Annabelle sequels or something like that, and
Yeah.
that's like it or something like it's truly horror is like a lot of stuff. There might be like a lot of like clichéness and jump
Hmm.
scares and kind of like wooden characters and like BS that doesn't make any sense. But also like horror can be
The Babadook.
yeah, horror can be the Babadook. It can be kind of like this thing that kind of like plays with like themes and it takes kind of like it could take like supernatural stuff and like surreal stuff and kind of like and juxtapose it with actual reality so it's not just kind of like silly like the horror can be really interesting. I don't always seek it out because sometimes my stomach is kind of like this isn't for you but like
Mhm.
when I do find something that is like moving or interesting like hell yeah I'll buy the DVD, I'll watch it. Like, why not?
Absolutely. Now, a lot of people, and I'm sure we both have complained about why is this movie getting a sequel? Why do we need to have a sequel to this? But Matt, what's one film that you wish would get a sequel?
Okay, let's see. I was thinking, I want to see. I I don't know. There's no like deep answer to like. I was gonna say eighth grade because I wanted to see what ninth grade was gonna be like, or just I just want Bo Burnham to make more movies in general. I don't know, but I
Fair.
think I'll go with Booksmart just because that movie. Like I hope Olivia Wilde kind of like rebounds from all the drama of like what was that this year or last year? Was that this year? All of that happened? That last year?
It was at the end of last year.
I
Oh God,
forget.
it's just so much crap.
I know that movie's now on Netflix, and it's kind of, and but a part of me is like, I don't even know if I want to like, watch it, even though it's like technically like free with my subscription.
Mhm.
But I thought that. and I still watch. I've shown Booksmart to so many people. I've shown that to my girlfriend. I've shown it to my siblings, my cousins. Oh no, I haven't shown my brothers that actually. I need to show them that. But I've shown it to like so many people, and I love it every single time. Sometimes like I won't even look at the screen. I'll just like look at their reaction, just like waiting for them to
Yeah.
react, like the doll scene or something like I don't know. So I would love to see a sequel where they're in college. I know in the movie they were planning on going separate colleges, slash
Yeah.
one is taking like a year off. I don't know how it will work. It
Have one
honestly
visit the
probably,
other.
yeah, maybe that. Maybe it's kind of like it's kind of it plays with time and it's kind of like it's like in this time period and that time period. And it keeps going back and forth. I don't know, but it I just want more of that movie. So that's me less being kind of like a cinephile or whatever, and it's me just being kind of like a selfish consumer, just wanting more
Give me
of something that I
more.
like. Yeah, give me more. But yeah, Booksmart. Yeah, give me more Booksmart, or at least have that team like come back together, like the people behind the camera. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I
Pretty
love
dope.
books. I love Booksmart. I would like to see more of those characters, and I think putting them in a college setting would be a really interesting thing. But in terms of think back, Matt, to your childhood. What's a film from your childhood that you have not watched in years that you'd most want to go back and watch?
So it's interesting. So if you would have said like, um, if you were to have said a movie from my childhood, just like in general, then oh yeah, I can name like a bunch of things like I like, but something that I haven't seen in a long time that I liked when I was younger, that's harder to come up with. But I guess I'll go. But I was like thinking in my head of like VHSs that I
Mm,
had, um, and uh, I guess it would either be like it was isn't the actual answer, but it would either be maybe like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. I don't know why. I just super liked that movie. It's like sort of a movie, kind of like not really. It's a couple of things. I don't know.
mm,
Or I just watched it a bunch. Or the movie Casper with Christina Ricci.
nice.
Like there's like so many awesome moments in that movie. There's like a Ghostbusters reference. I think Clint Eastwood has like a 2 second cameo because like somebody's looking in the mirror and it's kind of like a poltergeist thing where someone's like face is changing, except it's like Clint Eastwood for like a second. Um, Christina Ricci, I guess that was when she was like the peak
Eric
her.
Idle's in that movie. I'm pretty
Mm,
sure he's one of the two like bad people. Which
yeah,
yeah,
that
I haven't watched Casper in a long time too. Oh, it has Bill Pullman in it, so 90s. Um, I would love to rewatch Casper at some point. Fun time.
and it also like one of those movies from the '90s that had like the like you remember like when movies had like the theme songs.
Yeah.
Like some movies, like in the end credits, they had like a little like song rap that was almost always really cringy, but it kind of like basically explained like the plot of the movie. Like this movie had that. I guess Casper was a TV show before it was a movie,
Yeah.
or vice versa. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't
It
matter.
was
But
an
like,
old
yeah,
cartoon. So, yeah.
yeah, like little
Hey,
Richard.
it's on Peacock.
It's on Peacock.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a shot.
Give it a rewatch
I'll
for
give it a binge.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Is the season coming? Now, Matt, let's transport you. If you could visit anywhere in a movie, where would you want to go?
Okay. So this movie is based on a book that I feel like it was like the hype for the movie was super awesome. At least that was my sense of it because the trailer was fantastic. And I had read the book beforehand. I'm kind of I'm lazier lately, but for that movie, I was like, no, no, no. I'm going to read this book. And I was not disappointed. At least I know some people have like certain comments about certain aspects of it because there's some cringy stuff, but I thought the cringy stuff was funny because I mean, I don't know, maybe because I'm cringy, I don't know. But I would like to be in like the world of Ready Player One. Not a dystopian world. I would like for things to be kind of like hashed out. So maybe like 20 years after the movie's over, but there's still kind of like an oasis going on. So I don't want to be like, in the crappy part, but I would love to be in the oasis. You know how awesome that would be
That would be really cool.
to be like see a Batman punching SpongeBob and like riding on top of like Mecha Godzilla. Like that's how awesome that would be, man.
That would be so cool. Are you gonna get Iron Giant?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, remember that when you saw the Iron Giant in the trailer, like I don't even remember how many YouTube breakdowns out of that
Mhm.
trailer I saw. And like in the background, you heard the Willy Wonka imagination song. It was kind of like in this orchestral.
Yeah.
Ah, it was, it was so great. Yeah, I would
World
love
of
to be in
pure
the Oasis.
imagination.
Yeah. Also, what do you think of the trailer, by the way? That's coming in December, right? To meet Timothy Chalamet.
I think it could be fun. I like Paul King. He made the first two Paddington movies, so like he knows how to charm people. And I think Timothy Chalamet will do a good job. I can't wait for Hugh Grant to be an Oompa Loompa.
Mm,
Because we only get like that much of him in the trailer. I'm just like, no, give me more. Give me more Hugh Grant.
I
Um,
mean, more.
we'll see. We'll see how it is. Now, Matt, thinking about when you're younger as well, what's a movie that you watched way too young?
Okay, so a movie that I watched way too young. I don't know. I feel like there's like chronological age, and then there's also like emotional maturity.
Mhm.
I don't know. So that's like one thing. And then two, I feel like regardless of that, I kind of watched everything. I feel like it's bad when you have like just like unfettered access to stuff when you're like in middle school. I feel like that's like maybe not the greatest, but when you're inside of high school, like at least for me, it was kind of the bets are off. I didn't ask for permission. I just like
Mhm.
watched it. I watched Pulp Fiction. I watched Pulp Fiction. I binged Kill Bill like one and two like on a Saturday. Again, I just did it. So but I will say either A Clockwork Orange as a freshman in high school, which is a disturbing and violent and cynical, like almost like nihilistic movie.
Oh, I
Like,
was
a whole,
certainly cured, Matt.
yeah, I guess the ending is like sort of hopeful, but also like cured question mark or Itamama Tambien, which um
Ah,
is a very
sexy.
it's it's a movie for adults
Yes. There's a
from the
lot of
first shot.
sexual exploration uh
100%.
in that film. So if you're not, I feel like that movie, if you're not sexually mature, you're really not gonna like fully like understand it. Like the characters, like they were not old enough to understand really the situation that they were in, and those are some interesting points. Clockwork Orange, I feel like, are we ever old enough for Clockwork Orange?
Yeah, like I saw like it was like an X-rated movie, and I was like, oh
Yep,
man, like what is?
NC-17.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like I have to watch this movie, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's almost kind of like you're on like this weird trip. Like people's
Mm-hmm.
hair is like purple, and people are getting beat up, and there's weird music, and there's like that slow-mo scene where the guy like falls in the pool or in the
Yeah.
lake. It's like all that random stuff. Someone almost gets drowned in a tub in a forest. This is like some of this wild stuff.
Yep. Oh, it's wild. It certainly is. Now, Matt, let's get a little heavy. or it might be
Mm,
not quite as heavy, but thinking about something that means something to you. What's a film experience that you feel like made a legitimate impact on your life?
um, I'll say it's funny. I feel like when I come back to do another one of these interviews, I wouldn't want that question again. So I come up with like a different answer. I feel like I bring up Pulp Fiction too much anytime.
Hey Matt,
But
if it is what's impacted you, this is all about you. It doesn't matter.
okay, true, true. So for now anyway, subject to change, but for now I'll say Pulp Fiction. When I saw Pulp Fiction, um, like I don't know, man. Like there's so many moments that I think like it's like Kevin Smith that said, you know that you have witnessed true art when uh you feel like you want to go out and make your own art afterwards. And I felt like I wanted to write something
Mhm.
that interesting and funny and deep because I feel like people when they think about Pulp Fiction, they think about like the violence or think about the humor, and there's a lot of both, but also like there's awesome acting and there's a couple like really interesting and like and arresting monologues in that. So like definitely the number one being the, the I am the like you are the weak and I am the tyranny of evil men. Like that is but I'm trying really hard to be the shepherd. Like that's like such like a very interesting. Like, every once in a while, I'll just like throw that on YouTube and just kind of like let my arms kind of like goosebump up a little bit. Like it's
Yeah.
so interesting. Or when Marcellus Wallace like explains what he's going to do to a person that kind of like pushed his boundary, and that's a generous way to say that, but without
Yes.
spoiling it or whatever.
It's a very diplomatic way of explaining that sequence.
Yeah. But when he says that, like the way that that little is like 30-second or a minute like thing that he says he's about to do to someone, he's like, no, don't worry about
Gonna
it.
go
You're good.
medieval on your ass.
Yeah, like that. It's just so interesting. Like like when you're watching a movie and it's like you wish that you can just like have like a remote control. But you're watching it. I saw it for the first time. I was watching it on TV, but it wasn't like uncut. I think it was like on Encore or something like that. And I was just
Yeah.
like watching it. Thought it was like the greatest thing I had ever seen. And yeah, there's not like many moments where it's kind of like where like you see something and it's like this is gonna stick with me. And for some reason, that was like really stuck with me. I'm not a violent person at all. I promise you.
Mhm.
I'm pretty chill, but I
I can
just like
speak
that
for
movie
Matt.
a lot. Yes,
He
I'm a
is
chill
not.
guy. Like,
Yeah. Matt is one of the chillest guys. So
yeah, really awesome movie. Really awesome. I don't. I think there's a lot of like, material inside of that movie, and also like I'm okay with like critiquing some aspects of the movie. Like some aspects are like I don't necessarily like, or some aspects are kind of like odd now, but even like those aspects, like I can critique something that I love, and yeah, that movie's great. Like that's definitely like my favorite movie of all time, despite some aspects of it. Yeah, that's my favorite movie of all time. Also,
like
Samuel Jackson. Like, come on, man. Really?
that Oscar.
Like, yeah. Also, that. What the hell is that? He didn't win because yeah, oh my God,
Because
Ultra
of
Math.
it's Martin Landau, Matt. But
Oh,
as
whatever.
some as somebody who is a big fan of Ed Wood and thinks that Martin Landau did a great job as Bela Lugosi, it's impossible to argue that Samuel L. Jackson's performance as Jules has not made a legitimate impact on film.
Who's
And
Walter
to like
Matthau?
Walter Matthau is like he was in um the original like Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3,
Oh,
Grumpy Old Men, The Odd Couple, Dennis the
yeah,
Menace, the Dennis the Menace movie. They're both older actors in the
yeah.
90s, but like but
Walter
no,
Matthau just caught a stray bullet for a second. Yeah, my bad, Walter.
yeah, Martin Landau did get that Oscar, and it was probably a legacy Oscar, but and that was a tough field too. Like Gary Sinise was great. Say what you will about Forrest Gump, Gary Sinise is great in Forrest Gump
Mm,
as Lieutenant Dan, and it just I would even argue like Jules wasn't a supporting character in Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction's too hard of a film to like break down so simply like that because it has three leads. Each of them get a whole story line, like section of the film themselves. So like,
mhm.
yeah, they put the money on John Travolta, a former Academy Award nominated Best Actor, to go in there, but should have done it for Samuel Jackson, and then he'd be pissed off at Tom Hanks instead uh, for all this time
Yeah.
um, for winning for Forrest Gump. Now, Matt, we talk a lot about movies, but what's a movie you would like to get turned into a TV show?
Okay, so it's a movie that I've been kind of like I'm being like a little punk about it, but I really do want to see it before it gets taken off of Netflix because I really want to watch it. Every time I want to watch it, I'm like after work, I'm like, nope, I'm just gonna watch like 3 more episodes of Suits and then I'm gonna go to sleep. Which I need to stop being a punk about it. And I just need to rewatch it, even though I've seen it like 3 times or whatever. But I would love to see a TV series on Annihilation. I would love to see that. And that movie is, I read the first book only,
Uh,
which is very different than the movie. Which is like, yeah, like very different. I think like the instead of a bear, it's like this glowing slug monster with like a man trapped inside. I don't know, something weird, like it's hard to like, explain. That doesn't matter. But like the the bear, which I'm not going to spoil. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil why that bear is terrifying, aside from the fact, because it's way more terrifying than just the fact that it's a bear that attacks people and eats people. There's like a way scarier thing. But yeah, I would love to see like a series, like a mini series based on Annihilation. I feel like that would be really interesting. I feel it'd be something like if they can do like what was that movie that or what was that show that like blew me away? The Last of Us. That was
mhm.
like fantastic. Like it's like the same people that like created that, or at least I don't know, just like or at
Can't
least
do
the same
Annihilation.
amount of like attention to detail or whatever like that, like the same kind of respect for the source material like that, like a treatment of Annihilation like was done for The Last of Us, that would be Chef's Kiss. Also, that would be a wild ride. That'd be a
That
wild
would be
ride.
getting that Sunday HBO slot, certainly.
Dude, that was absolutely that was a do you remember I don't want to spoil it, but do you remember like how you felt during the bear scene?
I was terrified. It's terrifying. It's oh my god, that movie's terrifying. It's so unnerving and just I like there were some pissed off people coming out of the theater after that because it's not like a very accessible film. But like
Mm.
Alex Garland, man, he knows what he's doing. Certainly.
What is he doing lately? Like what's he doing lately? I can look it
Well,
up later, but I know you have like
he
you
made
have
Men
photographic memory of this
last
stuff.
year.
What happened?
He made Men last year.
Oh yeah, that pissed me off, yo. Yeah. And the ending where people are like vomiting up. Yeah. Well, never mind. But yeah. Not great. Not well. Not great for me. Not great for me. Art, subjective.
Yeah,
Not for me.
I had opposite feelings, but I had a strong I had a whole entire debate going the whole entire 30-minute drive home with Paige on her way back from that press screening. It makes you think and talk. But let's get a little love in the room. Matt, what's your favorite movie film romance?
Oh, this was easy as hell, dude. Definitely before Sunrise or Midnight, whatever trilogy. It was fantastic. Like this those movies, like it's kind of like Pulp Fiction, where it's kind of like they don't necessarily talk, or maybe like a Sorkin screenplay where people don't necessarily talk like how actual people talk. But man, it is interesting to listen to them talk. In this
Mhm.
movie, it's not about like it's not like quips and one-liners or like pop culture reference like Pulp Fiction and
Some waxing poetic
yeah,
from a young American writer, a
yeah, like
pragmatic young French woman.
dude,
It's
it was so great. All those movies are so great, like and they're heartbreaking and like real, or at least it feels real.
well, he
Um,
missed his flight.
yeah, I mean, and then the fact that the characters are aging alongside the actual actors
Yep.
in each movie. I don't know. There's going to be another one. I hope there's going to be another one. I feel like that would
Before
be
tea time,
awesome. Yeah, like
before
that would
lunch,
be yeah before before
before noon.
that would be dude. Especially I think the third one is my favorite, mostly because there's like an extended, incredibly painful, uh, like marital like spat.
Yep.
Um, that felt so like that felt real. I feel like maybe the first two movies, people, I feel like the both of the characters they talk, especially the first one, I feel like they talk kind of like they're in a movie. It's still scintillating to listen to, but I feel like the third one is kind of they just talk like more realistically. And I don't know, man, just the way that the characters just like interact and the scenery of like these places that they're like walking around. Because these people are just chatting. That's all they're doing. They're just chatting about like life and falling in love and like their dreams and their apprehensions and their like their insecurities and like their hopes and their relationship and like
It
other
certainly
people's
is.
relationships are humans. Yeah, it's a great movie. It's a
It's
great
like
movie. Great
it's
movie.
certainly the deepest romance you're probably going to find because they just committed so much to it over the course of those films. You know that. You know them so deeply throughout those films. Now, Matt, now we have the big one. So theoretically, you get hired to teach a film class. What's going to be in your curriculum?
So I would like I would like to, and there's there. I wish I came up with like a list of like examples aside from I let the right one in and let me in, but I would love to come to have a whole course dedicated to like remakes done right.
Hmm.
I would love that. Like remakes done right. And then you can kind of like see that in like multiple different ways, maybe kind of like I don't know, like maybe like something came out for like decades and decades, and then it gets kind of like redone, and it's actually like really interesting, or maybe it was kind of uh, like this international thing, and then like America kind of did it, or vice versa. So maybe kind of like a Infernal Affairs and The Departed, or again like The Right One In, Let Me In. I know some people don't like Let Me In. I personally think that movie's fantastic.
I do
Actually, I took
too.
my mom to see it. Yeah, I took my mom to see it, and she walked out halfway through. So I was like, okay, I guess that I should have saw that coming. LOL. But like
Matt
Yeah, I don't know,
Reeves.
man. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, she's not down with the she's not down with the vampires. But dude, like I would love to either sit in or teach. Like there are really good reboots and remakes like out there. I
The
promise you there
thing,
are.
the thing's definitely
There are
towards
good
the
sequels
top
out there.
for me.
Mm,
I would really enjoy that because it takes a specific kind of approach to take source material, revamp it, and make it just as good or improve upon it or make it good in its own right. And there's certainly plenty of them out there, and a lot of films that people probably don't know are remakes. And being able to make something work, like even something that are unofficial remakes, like A Fistful of Dollars from Sergio Leone, is a remake of Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo. So that's a great example. This
mm.
Magnificent Seven is Seven Samurai. So, like, there's all those kinds of things, and you could have a lot of films that you could talk about. I'd take your class, Matt.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely.
So,
I would give all of my students like Pop Secret if they get an A on their
that's
coursework, on their essays.
I would
Yeah,
that's
that's
my
a goal.
dream is to teach a film class someday.
Nice.
Throw all the numbers out the window, go teach about some film. But Matt, we have come to the end of this show where I let my guest ask me a question. So what would you like to ask the Wasteland reviewer?
So, I mean, it's very interesting. I mean, like I can ask you so many deep and introspective things that we could talk about. Like, I don't know, we can just go in like so many different directions, right? I have like a Willy Wonka kind of like golden ticket. I can jump into any aspect of your psyche, but I'm going to firmly and intentionally waste that opportunity and ask you, uh, who would be your old Hollywood hall pass request? Who would
So I guess the question is like what where's the line here for old Hollywood?
hmm, I'll say before 70s, before
Oh,
yeah, movies
if you're
before.
going if you're doing that reason, easy. Julie Andrews, bam.
Okay, go earlier than that. I mean,
Well, I just want to
Julie
clarify.
Andrews.
Julie Andrews has been my biggest crush since I was a kid. So, like, easy. Like that would be easy choice. Okay,
But let's go like
give me
earlier than that, like or even earlier than that. Like I want you to pick someone that maybe Hitchcock would kind of like it give you like a fist pump like with or a fist dap rather. Like you kind of
oh if I
what
had to
Scarlet?
pick somebody,
That's what he's famous for, right? Like he was really into blondes, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Um
LOL.
Kim Novak's up
Oh.
there. That would be she would be up there from like Vertigo, but
Mm,
it's hard not to say Ingrid Bergman. It's like she's gorgeous and she obviously had a lot of charisma. Like her in like Rear Window.
mm.
I know that's Grace. That was Grace Kelly, wasn't it? No, so like Ingrid Bergman, like straight out Casablanca, just like I'm trying to think, old school hot because all I can think of is Katharine Hepburn, and Katharine Hepburn's not going to be my hall pass. Uh,
It seems like she's the one with the very specific accent, right?
who? Katharine Hepburn?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Um,
forget where she's from, but yeah.
it's that very like mid-Atlantic accent. Sophia Loren would be up there too. Gorgeous Italian actress, chef's kiss. Um, but when it really comes down to it, it's Julie Andrews. But Ingrid Bergman would definitely be up there if like we're really going back to like earlier Hollywood. Um, but yeah, there you go. You're
Nice,
welcome,
very
Matt.
cool. So invite me back to do another one of these, and I'll come up with like an actual like hard hitting question. But for now, I'm happy with my wild card question.
Well, there you go. And that's a wrap here on Lost in the Wasteland. Matt, thank you so much for coming on and talking some movies.
Thank you for having me, dude. Always, seriously, I appreciate
Thank
the
all
hanging.
of you out there for always tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.
There, guys.